Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intelligence Racing League Sprint Championship. Today, you join us for round 2 of this 7-round championship at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya here in Spain. It should be a good race. I'm joined in the commentary box by ILRT Matty.
Yeah, hello everyone. Hope you all are doing well, and yeah, I'm looking very forward to this race. It's definitely going to be one of the good ones. Spain is a hard track, but yeah, it's known as like a track where it's going to be DS trains, which we also had in D1, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and obviously those first few turns there, turn 3 especially, that's going to take a big toll on the tyres, so I think strategies could be quite interesting this evening. And we'll have to see if there are any safety cars as well, like there were last week, which led to a very dramatic finish to the race.
Yeah, definitely, that can really change the race. We saw Newful in Bahrain. He started on soft tires, but he got lucky with the safety car, so he could win it. So let's see if somebody will do the same strategy and start a soft again.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what people do. We'll have to wait for the qualifying session, because of course it's those on the top 10 start on the tyres they qualified on. So we'll see whether people prioritise tyres or position, which is going to be quite interesting for the qualifying session. So we'll just get ready. And hello Macru, I see you're joining us in the chat for the race. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a good track, it's a hard track, and obviously the one they use for testing. It was originally built in 1991, I think, and this is a little history bit. And in 1992, it actually was used in the Olympics, I think, for the trial cycling. But as well as that, it's used for MotoGP, and it has been used for numerous other series such as DTM and ELMS, as well as more than that. And it's seen a lot of reprofiling over the years due to, I think it's mainly MotoGP crashes, because they can be quite dangerous, especially through those final turns, which is why they got rid of the long sweeping double right-hander and replaced it with that chicane to hopefully also improve overtaking, because it was a big problem when the balance of aerodynamics got bigger and bigger. People just couldn't follow through there, so they introduced the chicane to try and increase overtaking. So it'll be interesting, because it's very easy to lose time over there if you hit the sausage curb or something like that. So we'll watch and see how the drivers tackle that final chicane. And of course the exit of there is very important, because it's quite a long straight here.
Yeah, and I think we are making a new lobby. We should get it, because the guy can't join the lobby.
Okay. Yeah, it's Jordan's, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, we're sorry for the delay. It's just we're having some technical issues, but hopefully that'll get sorted with the new lobby and we can get to racing as soon as possible. Although the lobby does need to be set up, because currently we're in Australia, and I don't think that's meant to be this week.
Definitely not in multiple cars as well.
Yeah, especially not. That'd be quite difficult actually, having the multiplayer cars, because it's a lot harder to commentate not just the drivers, but then also because there's no team names. Yeah,
oh,
it's a
yeah,
restart.
definitely.
And I quite like having the team names, to be honest. It just makes it a lot easier to commentate.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I've seen that also on R Factor, because the 24 Hours of Le Mans for now has been delayed, I think, until the 20th of September. On R Factor, they're going to do a virtual one where it's like half sim racing drivers and half real drivers, all on a sim, which looks quite interesting. I might have to have a little watch of that when they do it, which I think is when the weekend of the actual Le Mans was meant to happen, which I think is June the 20th.
Yeah, definitely. I actually forgot everything about it, but yeah, definitely. It's a good race, there's many big names in it, so.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely have a little look at that, see how it goes, because I know that the iRacing 24 Hours of Le Mans is probably going to be quite popular as well, because they had the 24 Hours of the Nürburgring, and that was actually quite a popular stream for iRacing, because no one else had anything better to watch. I know I certainly didn't.
And I have literally no idea who actually will take the win tonight. As I've done some practice with some other guys in D2, and they were very, very close together.
Yeah, I mean, Nuffle Beezy is probably the favourite for now because this championship he's got a 100% win rate because there's only been one race and he won it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who finishes where because it was actually really close last week as well. It could have been anyone's race. And of course there was that contact on the final lap which led to one of the top guys being taken completely out of the points. So we'll obviously have to keep an eye out right until the end of the race because of course the race isn't truly over till you cross the line. Even if you've got a massive gap, you could make a mistake and that could bring an end to your race. So yeah, definitely don't want to predict anything. I don't think you can predict anything yet. So we'll just wait and hopefully we can get underway as soon as possible because we've got all 20 drivers in the lobby now. So we should be able to get going in a minute.
Yeah, definitely. A guy that I think I have good favorites for winning today's race will be Storm. His pace last week was very good. He was challenging Nuffle very, very hard. Also, guy Sabino, he was, I would say, disappointment last week because I thought he would be at the top. He was one of the favorites to win the championship. So I'm looking forward to see what he can do this week.
Yeah, and obviously, because it's such a short championship, the finishes, the amount of points you get, it's going to be worth nearly triple what they usually would, if you know what I mean, because you're not doing the full championship length. So each individual, because there's less points to be had, but you still get the same amount of points, they're going to be worth more. So yeah, each DNF or each low points finish is going to hurt the drivers' championships even more than they would under normal circumstances. But we are going to get underway for qualifying now, and it should be quite entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. And probably the most of people will do, again, medium hard strategy. I don't think somebody will start on the softs, because that was not a great time to start on. They will die after like 3 laps. So.
Yeah, so qualifying looks to be set in stone then with the strategy, although of course those drivers that finish outside the top 10 will be free to choose whichever tyres they want. So it'll be just interesting to see who starts on the hards and who starts on the mediums then. Maybe we'll have one on the softs, you never know. But it looks like the qualifying should hopefully be close though, if we are similar to what happened last week. And here we are loaded into the session. Let's just get all the track stuff up. We get the best tyres out and just wait for the first drivers to pull out. Of course they're going to have to get their strategies ready due to the Parc Fermé rules and not load up the wrong setup like someone did last week, I remember.
Yeah, that's never a good thing. That's really... especially at this track, because this is a track where it's easy to lose the car and spin around. So you don't want to get a wrong setup or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely not. And because it's a very... there's not really any track like Spain because it's obviously got that really long straight, but it's very downforce dependent as well. So if you end up loading like a Baku setup up, you're going to be quite impacted by that. And we've got Williams leading us out. Interesting with the news about Williams in real life though, because they are being sold due to financial troubles. That was announced I think yesterday, so quite a topical team right now. So hopefully that the name Williams can stay in Formula 1 though, because obviously it has a lot of heritage in Formula 1. It'd be a shame to see it go, but we have got Danny just leading us out. We'll ride on board with him for a hot lap in just a moment. We've just got to wait for them to do their out lap and just try and heat up those tyres a little bit more and get those brakes ready. But yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the interesting things right now is Axel. He's actually out on the soft tires at the moment. So he will try to definitely, if he's got to set a lap time on the soft, he will definitely try to go for 2 stops. That's not going to be hit. He's not going to go do a 1 stop with soft tires, definitely not.
No, so yeah, these strategies could be quite interesting, and it's interesting to go out immediately on the softs and not do a banker lap on another compound, but if he wants to do that, let's do that. But we're going to ride on board now with Danny as he heads along the straight. You can see revving all the way up to the top of those LEDs. Heading into turn 1 though, heavy braking for the 90-degree right. Then careful on the transfer of power through the left hand of turn 2. Then into turn 3, trying not to run wide, but carrying as much speed as possible. Then heavy braking into turn 4 of Repsol, which is similar to Parabolica at Monza, but then heading down the hill towards turn 5 before opening it out again. Careful on those curves because they can upset the car quite easily. Through the left-hand kink of turn 6 and into turn 7. Now up the hill we go, fighting with the car towards turn 9. That right-hander was turn 8. You can hear the revs absolutely going through the roof there. Along the second DRS straight then towards La Caixa of turn 10. Careful not to run wide, trying to carry as much speed as possible, get the best exit as possible. Oh, and someone might have gone off, I think.
Oh,
Yes,
and Maverick. Oh, yeah. Big collision down at the end of sector 2. I think Xavi lost it, and then Mike or Maverick hit him, unfortunately. That's qualifying session over.
Yeah, for both of them as well. That's really not good news for the two drivers. Let's see if we can see their cars still there, because that looks like it's quite a big impact, although their cars have just been moved. That is a big shame for them. Danny across the line though with a 1:19.7, and I think that safety, those yellow flags might have had an effect on all the other drivers' times. Yeah, definitely a good starting lap for Danny though. He's holding on to provisional pole for now, just ahead of Sabinio by about 1.5 tenths of a second. Although I say that, and AXA just pulls ahead, but not by much.
Yeah, Nofo is also around on his fine lap, so we see many people struggling at the moment on hard tires.
Yeah, and I mentioned actually AXA has done that on the softs as well, so that's definitely going to be their strategy. And starting from pole on the softs, it's interesting because you have that on-track position, but you'll probably have to do an extra pit stop. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Nuffle Beasley though, the current championship leader, in 11th after that lap, a 1:37.5, but he's actually going for a second flying lap, I think, because that first one clearly didn't work out.
I think the next guy to cross the line is Jordan JT. He's on a flying lap at the moment, coming out the two last corner, very tricky corners. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, very interesting. Did a pretty decent line through those last few turns. Across the line, that's going to be a 1:20.9. So, not far behind Sithy, but not far ahead of Iverbrun Mike either.
Ooh, and Paul is also spawns out first at the first corner. That's left. The first right-hander here. Ooh! That was close to here. Tufidani, I think it was, or Jordan. It was Tufidani.
Yeah, I think, was that Paulus?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good for him. And he might have damage on his wing as well, I think. It looks like, yeah, he does. So that's not gone too well for him. And yeah, you can see that almost everyone is currently on the hards, apart from Bosnia, who's in the pits, and AXA, who did that lap on the softs, and is currently on provisional pole. Although I mentioned, Civi and Danny are separated by 200ths of a second, so they're really, really close on track, and we'll see how that plays out. But actually, saying that, Storm and Sabinio are separated by literally 1,000th of a second. I don't think you can get closer than that, can you?
That is 1/10. That's
Yeah.
That's really. You can't describe how close that is. That's very, very close.
Yeah, that's less than a blink of an eye. And it's quite close between M2 Official and Kieran as well. There's only 3,000ths of a second in it. Although I say that, Official, I think he's going out on the softs now. Yes, he is, so very interesting there. And I think...
we see Sabino and Sabino moves out to second place, 19.2, and Calvin moves out to P3, the 19.5. Seeing good improvements times right now.
Yeah, and I think we'll see them continue to climb, because we've still got 11 minutes to go. So these definitely won't be the last lap times we'll see today. And we'll have to see what kind of final lap times we'll get this evening, or this afternoon rather. But it should be quite good. I know there's quite a lot of people in the comments like this track, but I know It's unlucky for Xavier though. And Hayden's brake is stuck apparently.
Well, that's not great.
No, that is really not
hopefully
good.
Hopefully he can fix it.
Yeah. Civi's gone on to the mediums actually. He'll probably be doing a lap relatively soon. And it looks like Danny's invalidated this lap unfortunately for him, so he'll have to go out on another one later on in the session. Just have a look for someone who is on a hot lap. We've got Nuffle Beezy here on, yeah, he's just managing his ERS to try and make sure he doesn't use all of it too soon, but he's climbing up the hill now towards, I need to remember the turns, don't I? Through turn 9 there. There we go. And that's the fastest sector 2 so far, I believe. He's gone purple, so we'll see how that compares to the other laps. He's definitely going fast though on those hards, which is very impressive. Axe has also improved. No, Axe has gone on to the mediums as well, maybe looking to improve on their soft time. So we'll have to watch and wait for that result. But anyway, coming out of the final turn now goes Beezy. And it's going to be 5th place there with a 1:19.6, putting him in between Invisible and Calvin.
Yeah, and his teammate Reckless goes up to P3 for now, but no one can challenge Sabino on the hard tires. Still over 10th clear, actually 2/10 clear of Reckless at the moment.
Yeah, and I just noticed, I think Beezy might be going on a second hot lap, which is interesting. Of course, those hards can obviously go a little bit further in the race, so it's not the biggest issue to have a double hot lap on the hards, but it's definitely an interesting strategy call, and we'll just see whether he manages to improve or not as he heads through sector 2 now, because he's still running high ERS, and I think he might be going for a second lap. I'm not entirely sure though. We'll see whether he can improve in sector 2 though, as he's coming towards a timing split now. And no, he's actually on an in lap because he's up 6.5 seconds.
And our up in Mike is coming out to the line. He moves up to P12. He's 4/10 quick. And he's risen flying lap.
Yeah, it's a decent lap time from him. He's ahead of Jordan. And we've got Storm just coming through the first sector now, into the second sector actually. We'll have a look to see who's further towards the line on track. We've got Hayden and Bosnia, the two Red Bulls, quite close. It looks like Hayden sorted out his brake because he's able to do a hot lap now, but we'll go with Bosnia first and then we'll hop down to Hayden once Bosnia's crossed the line. Now Bosnia had that incident last race, I believe, on the straight, which was very unfortunate for him. He didn't have the greatest week last week, but let's see if he can have a better one this week, and it looks like it because it's a 1:19.5 there. And here comes Hayden, and I think that might have been an out lap. Oh, I don't know actually.
It wasn't a lap, but I saw it last sector. He was very close to lose the car, so he has to save it, and that lost over, let's say, 2 seconds maybe. Ooh, it's Storm.
New pole position, yes, Storm on the medium tyres. So those mediums clearly faster than the hards. He's faster than Axa on the softs as well, but not by much, I have to add to that. And let's see whether other drivers decide to go out on the mediums as well, because we've got quite a few on the left now switching to the medium tyres before we reach those last few flying laps that the drivers do. We've got Axa out on the track now, who is on softs. He's up 3.5 tenths of a second. Will they improve as we head through the final sector now? Let's see whether they can retake that pole position. I think they're right on track to do it though. Slightly cutting the final chicane though, and that's going to be an invalidated lap.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. Just looking to see, I think M2, yeah, he's going to start his line. He's also on the soft tires, which I'm surprised that somebody's going out on the soft tires. Maybe they're thinking for a safety car, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the safety car is always a possibility. So we'll have a look. That's a 1:20.5 there. But they're going to go for another lap, I think. Bit of a lock-up on the front right. You don't want to lock up too much, especially if you're starting on the softs, because they wear so much quicker than the other tyres, and if you're going to be starting on them, they're going to already be pre-warned. So we'll have to keep an eye out and see how these strategies unfold. Obviously, there are only 2 drivers so far who've done laps on the soft, so we could see more as he locks up once again on that front left that time. Heading up the hill now through turns 7, 8 and 9. And you can see nearly flat out through turn 9. Kieran is bricking himself. Kieran's currently in 12th position, just behind MZ, and Kieran's only 0.003 of a second behind, but we'll have to see what kind of lap time is invalidated there by the Haas. That final chicane is a real stickler for track limits, and it's very easy to be caught out, as we've just seen twice in a row now.
Yeah, definitely the last chicane, you really need to take it very, very smart. Otherwise you will get invalidated or you will take it very bad. So really have to be very, very smooth around these corners. Otherwise you will get a very bad exit or get an invalidation, as many drivers already got.
Yeah, that final chicane is so awkward to do, and it's so easy to invalidate or lose a lot of time. We've got a driver who has, it looks like they've stopped up the hill. It looks like they're moving again though, so I'm not quite sure what that's about. We'll just stay with Frosty for now. Currently in 6th position. He'll be looking to move up the order. Let's see whether he can pull that off. Heading through the final chicane now. Good line through there.
Max moves up to P11.
Nice. Across the line, that's pole position for Frosty for now with a 1:18.5. And Sabino just behind him there, yeah. Very close. Storm and Axa, both on the softs. Very close together. So they've got very similar lap time, sorry, it's because I saw someone say, show Paul. Here is Paul, who has invalidated this lap. Sorry about that. Heading through the final chicane though. And I think he might have to go for a second crack. No, he's going to go back into the pits, and I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time actually.
He has to be.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh yeah, he has to be quick. I think Unufa is also invalidated Reckless. I think is next guy to cross the line.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately for the drivers, this is quite a short track, so it's not like a very long. Oh, there's a Ferrari facing the wrong way there.
That's Max.
Yeah, and he's actually out of the session.
Mac, yeah, and Reckless gets pulled by 33. He's under 10 from Calvin. Actually, Calvin is under 10 from Reckless.
Very, very close at the top. And I think as we're just entering the final few laps that we're going to see for this qualifying session, it's definitely going to heat up massively. And I noticed there are no drivers on the hards anymore. Everyone has gone either onto the mediums or the sods. Hayden and Paulus both on the softs, and they're going to go for one last attempt on those softs, see if they can improve. And across the line, Kieran improves by 1.3 seconds, putting him up into 6th place. Fantastic lap there from him.
I think Tovidani is gonna start his flying lap now. So many people will start the last flying laps, and M2, I think, yeah, he has damage. He has to pit there. That's his qualifying session over, unfortunately for him.
Did notice at the entrance of the pit lane, one of the cars, Williams, was facing the wrong way around. I think that was Jordan. So I'm not quite sure how he managed that, but luckily he didn't take anyone with him, I don't think. But now we've got just the last few laps coming out now. We've got Storm on the softs, who's on an out lap, whereas we have Axa here on a hot lap, just heading through turn 4 now. Danny moving out of the way, and I think Danny might just go for one last lap. He might be on an out lap now, and almost everyone but the top 3 are in the pits. Those top 3 have made their final laps, and I don't think they're going to have time to get one last lap in.
Yeah, original CB moves up to P6. He got Arthur's first sector, so.
And yeah, there's only 4 thousandths behind Axa, but I think Axa's going to try and increase that gap as he heads through the final sector now. We've got quite close traffic on the circuit right now. That could have been invalidated for the Renault, but AXA goes back into the pits actually. However, Storm is just starting his lap. We'll have a look around, see who's closer to the start-finish line.
I think Hayden is the next guy.
Yeah, and Toothy Danny's going to go for one last lap there, you can see. And we've got Beezy now, who won last week. He's currently in 10th. Can he improve though? He's up into ERS mode 5 with the DRS now activated. Across the line, it's going to be pole position there with a 1:18.3. And that puts the two McLarens 1-2 for now.
That was like a very good lap. I'm neutral here.
Sabinho just starting a lap now. So we'll have to hop back to him. He'll be the last driver to start a lap as Bosnia slows down. He's not on a hot lap. Storm is up 0.4 of a second towards the line. This could be interesting. This could move him up quite a lot of places. He's currently in 6th. Let's see what he can do as he heads towards the line now. And it's going to be pole position for the Racing Point. Fantastic.
Yeah, we got Paul, oh, that's a hard name. Paul Lush, I think it is how you pronounce it. Goes onto the line, he goes onto P10.
Yeah, so pretty close. And you can see there's quite a dispersion of softs and mediums. Looks like medium's definitely the chosen tyre, but definitely no hards, interestingly enough. And you can see how, and look at that, Savino's unfortunately invalidated. And I think that might just be everyone as Invisible heads towards the line now. P4. And he goes up into 4th, yeah, very, very close. At the top, you can see between 3rd and 5th, look how, just look how close they are. There's only about 2.5 hundredths of a second between them all.
Very yeah, top 3 to top 5, so 3rd to 5 position, they are very, very close to each other. Otherwise, actually, top 12 are under the second from P1, which is also close.
Yeah, we just got the leader gap up there, and we'll have a look at the best tyres. And you can see pole position on those softs. So Storm is going to be having to make an extra pit stop though, compared to the drivers behind him. Whereas those on the mediums aren't going to have to do that extra pit stop. AXA is in the same boat as Storm though. Whereas Paulus and Hayden aren't, as they will be starting outside their top 10, so they can choose the tyres they wish to start on.
Yeah, we're going to see a mix of strategy. Somebody will start on soft, and possibly we'll see the guys at the back will start at the hard tires to try and maybe go for a safety car at the end.
Yeah, anyway, the qualifying order, it's going to be TTG Storm 72 starting on pole position, followed by Nuffle Beezy, Reckless, Invisible, Frosty Calvin, Sabino, Toothy Danny, United Bosnia, AXA, Original Civi, Mech Kieran, Paulus H08, Otapa 8, Vapor Hayden, ESW, Iverbrim Mike, and CH55 Max with MZ Official, Jordan JT, and one Xavier 2002 with Alt Maverick rounding off the grid. Those last two not setting a lap time, having had that earlier kerfuffle in the qualifying session, which is a big shame for both of them. But let's see if they can make up for that during the race then, and I think there probably will be a stewards inquiry in that later, but yeah, we should be good to go in just a moment's time. Storm hoping for a safety car, or he says, and I quote, he is stuffed.
Yeah, that's the only thing he has to hope for right now, because otherwise I don't think he will win the race.
No, because he'll lose a lot of time in those pit stops. And Iverbrim Mike is also very happy with his 1:19.5. So
yeah, I know he's doing a no line, and he's still practicing, so he's getting better from a week on.
Yeah. Hello, Thom, if I pronounced that right. Probably not. But I hope you enjoy the race. And hopefully, I see you've all joined this race instead of the Formula E or the Formula 1, actual Formula 1 races being broadcast, but of course this is better, so you've made the right choice.
Yeah. So we only have Storm and Axel on the soft tires. Otherwise, many people, actually everybody except Kieran, Max, M2, John, and one Xavi is on the hard tires. Otherwise, everybody else is on the medium tires.
Yeah, that is interesting. So these strategies are definitely going to have quite a big difference on the race result, and the safety car is going to be quite a big factor, as we have got 33 laps to go before that checker flag is waved later on in the race. The drivers will just be warming up their tyres and brakes now, and just waiting for those 5 red lights to go out in just a moment's time. I hope you're ready, because I definitely am, and I am looking forward to this race.
Yeah, I'm also very, very looking forward to it. They have to take it easy at the start, because that could get some incidents happening there, but let's find out and see.
Yes, and everyone's saying hello to Dom. Thank you, yes, this is better than F1, obviously. Didn't know Dom is famous.
Yeah, Tom is a streamer many people in this league know. He's a great guy and great streamer as well.
Oh right, welcome to the stream. Hopefully we can entertain you this afternoon, sorry. I'm so used to commentating in the evening, the afternoon's just a bit... I have to remember that every time I commentate. Yeah. But anyway, the drivers are just lining up on the grid now for these 33 laps around the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Everyone in the neighbouring kilometres of this track will probably be hearing this, as it is on top of the hill, and I know that there are often noise complaints at this circuit because of its location. But here we go then, the last drivers just moving up into their grid positions. That is Maverick, but here we go. Just as the drivers sink before the start of the race, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights are out, and away we go here in Spain for round 2 of the Intelligence Racing League Championship.
Rick has got a very good start. He's already side by side with Neufel. Ooh, there's contact. Let's see down here, can everybody survive? Looks like everybody has survived at the turn.
Don't want to call it too soon though, because we head through turn 3, which can always be very, very interesting. Beezy's held off Reckless for now. Calvin has made up a position on Invisible as we head through turn 4.
Jordan and Max in contact, and Jordan is out at Max as well. A safety car already.
Very interesting. I think one car hasn't started yet, but we have got the safety car. And Paulus with a 5-second time penalty now, and look how close they are. It looks like, to me anyway, there's a car just on the main straight. It looks like there's a McLaren or something on my map which is glitched out. I'm not quite sure what that is, but yeah, that's a shame to have a safety car so early on in the race. And obviously it's what TTG Storm wanted, but I'm not sure if he wanted it this early. We'll have to wait and see whether he pits this lap or decides to leave it for now.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Unfortunately for Storm, he had actually a good gap. And I think he was already over the second of Neufel, but from every lap now, his tire's going to be good, and he goes into the pit lane.
Yes, he does. So he'll be going on to the hard side, I expect, because they might be able to make it to the end of the race. But yeah, I apologise for that noise that was in the background. That was the washing machine that someone tactically put on before I was about to commentate. But that's finished now. It's got 1 minute left on the spin. But that's a shame for Jordan and Max and Ivor Bryn Mike, who's also out of the session. We've got quite a few drivers going into the pits. Storm, Paulus and AXA. I think they were all on the softs actually. So you can see that they're making the most of this early safety car. And the 2 McLarens now are 1-2 on track. Let's see if it stays that way. But yeah, very interesting start. You can see some drivers have had decent starts. I mean, Maverick is up 8 positions, having started right at the back after his collision in qualifying. But we are ready to get going. I reckon the safety car might come in at the end of this lap if we're lucky, although it might stay out until the end of lap 3. We'll just have to keep an eye on that bottom left for the race director to announce something or other. Although I don't think it comes in until everyone's formed up behind it, so we'll probably have one more lap behind the safety car. But yeah, a very interesting start. Drivers pitting. Civi, he has not had a good start. He's down 4 positions actually, and I don't think he's pitted either.
I saw he was round at the start, but I don't think he has no front wing damage, so he managed to escape it, but unfortunately he lost a lot of positions on it.
And I've just seen that Maverick has a 5-second time penalty for extending track limits, which is very interesting to do under the safety car, but he's not going to be too happy about that. He might end up serving it in the pit lanes, I'm not sure, but we'll see whether that has an impact on the outcome of his race, because time penalties always do have a big impact towards the end of the race, especially if we'll have a safety car near the end, which bunches everyone up and amplifies the effect of those penalties. But yeah, we're going to be going for another lap under the safety car, and it will come in at the end of this lap, I hope, and we can get back to racing again, and we're going to have essentially a rolling start, because we've had our standing start for the half lap, and now we get to do our rolling start, and the session appears to be having a slight issue, which is not good news.
Yeah, I hope the lobby is not glitches. My screen is just saying mechanic host, but hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully that can sort itself out. Of course, the game does need to find someone to replace as a host, and if not, we could be in quite a pickle. So hopefully the game does sort itself out, and hopefully this doesn't lead to any issues, because we already had the delayed start because Otapa was just struggling to join, but now we do have the drivers going through. It doesn't look like it's affected the actual game too much. It's just going to be flashing at the bottom of our screen for the rest of the race, probably. But here we go.
Yeah, and I just looked at the people at penalties, and I saw that Storm has a drive-through penalty.
A drive-through? That is not good news. Did he speed into the pit lane, potentially? I'm not sure why, but yeah, I think he must have maybe gone a little bit too hot into the pit lane. I'm not sure though. And it looks like the safety car is staying out for yet another lap. So if it doesn't come in at the end of this lap, I mean, I'm surprised it hasn't come in actually, but hopefully it comes in at the end of this lap and we can get racing again. Yeah, I think Jordan was the lobby host and then he left. I think that might be what the problem is.
Yeah, maybe the lobby is glitched. Let's hope not.
Yeah, I know. That would not be good news.
Oh, and now the grid is changing a lot on my screen.
Yeah, I've just seen that as well. This is really bad news for the race. Yeah, this race is going from bad to worse. Either accidentally he tried to force a wing change, but he hit the wall a little bit too hard. That's a really big shame. Well, I think you can change it on the pit strategy to, instead of automatically change your wing, to have it to select change wing and then yes. Although I might be wrong in that.
Yeah, let's see if the safety car will come in. If it doesn't come in, I think the lobby is glitched.
I think this is a rip as well from. We'll see though, because we're heading to the point where it usually does give the message, and we're just not getting it. So yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before we call off the race. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Maybe it just decides to put in. Nope. We go for yet another lap, and it looks like that. Oh my goodness, what is going on at the back of the order there?
I think we are getting a restart.
I think we are. What is going on with Kieran? He's absolutely blasting past everyone, and he's doing a slalom. He's gone past the safety car, and I think he's given up on the race. Oh, and he's hit the safety car. He's gone for a spin. And yes, Reckless is now AI. As interesting from Kieran to go underneath. That's a new method of overtaking, and he's merged with the safety car. So
yeah, just making a new lobby right now.
Yeah, we are restarting. I think, can you do custom grids?
Yeah, I think you can.
Because then we don't have to redo the qualifying session. There's onto the gravel goes here. Yeah, that's a shame. We've not been blessed with. We've been hit quite hard by the technology gremlins this afternoon, I have to say that. And it does mean that either Bryn Mike, Jordan, Max and Nuffle Beezy will get another chance at least, I believe, as they do leave the session. And yeah, this is that's not gone too well, I'll be honest.
That's the second time we also had a lobby glitch in D1.
Oh right. And there's a Renault going the wrong way. Yeah, so I think this was probably because the host left. We'll just have to wait for invitations to the new lobby, and hopefully we can get underway again for the Grand Prix of Spain. Sorry for the wait. I think we'd probably be halfway through the race by now. But apparently the safety car's in, although it looks like it's just carrying on around the track. And yeah, we'll just have to wait for the new lobby to be set up, and then we can get going again as Kieran tries to take out the safety car, although I don't think it's possible because it's built like a Churchill tank in the F1 games at least. But yeah, the safety car is weird in this game because it's like an unmovable object. Oh no, the safety car has come in though.
Just when everybody has left. That happened too often.
Yeah, that's a shame, but hopefully we can just get started again properly, because I think that's just because it's finally... I think everyone has left apart from like a couple of people that actually decided to choose a host. But yeah, we'll just have to get ready to go again. I think the remaining driver... there don't seem to be any remaining drivers. But they might just be trying to redo... Oh, get some extra practice in, but yeah, this is a red flag.
Yeah, I'm just right now just inviting the last guys I have on my friends. I don't have everyone.
Please may I have an invite? We've got the entertainment of some AI at least. In a very tight train, so tight in fact they're inside each other. Well, I'm not sure I'm allowed to say that. Oh, thank you. I have a invite, and the race has ended. This is very strange, but I do like this music.
Yeah, also chill music which is good.
Yeah, I mean, the F1 theme is actually so good. It was a good choice. Yeah, we've red flagged the race, something that you'll have never seen before in league racing. But we are ready to spectate and hopefully get into the race once everyone's in the new lobby. But yeah, it's a shame about the last race, but at least we have got the custom grid. Looks like we've got short qualifying on actually. Are we not?
Oh, I need to change that.
One shot. Are we just going to get it so that everyone crosses the line? Oh no. Oh yeah, custom mode.
And then I'm just taking a look at it.
Let's have a look see if there's anything else. I think that looks like everything's good. Hopefully people don't cheat and change their race setups, but you never know.
Just waiting on the last guy to join. But unfortunate that it is taking long. First he had some problems, and now...
Yeah, hopefully this doesn't persist. But it's a red flagged race. Hopefully it's not a cancelled race, unlike the actual real life races. And actually, speaking of that, Barcelona, had they not been able to fit 22 races into the calendar, this is the race that would have been struck off for 2020 actually, to be replaced with Zandvoort, which is quite interesting in my opinion. But yeah, there seems to be a lot of races in Formula 1. It seems, I don't know, maybe it's too many races. I don't know. Well, I'm not complaining about the races, but it's a lot for the teams to have to deal with in real life. However, we should be getting ready in just a moment's time. Just waiting for the last 3 drivers to join and we can get underway again. In Spain, we've had our practice start, and I don't know if drivers will choose different tyres or they'll start on the same tyres they qualified on. I don't know if there's a rule about that.
Yeah, I'm just finding the weather. It was cloudy.
Yeah. Cody's got to fix their game. As it.
Yeah.
But, yes. I like
It's
your helmet a lot,
stormy,
Ruffle.
I'm just inviting him.
Yes. Oh yeah, someone hasn't got an invite. Don't worry, Jav.
I
These
used to
things
post it.
happen. It's not your fault. It's Cody's fault. You know, if in doubt, just blame Cody's.
Yeah. But you know, that's what happens in every F1 games when when they're starting to develop the new game, they're not focusing on the game. I just need to make the grid now.
Yeah, I think it's just the netcode that needs sorting out in the F1 games. Hopefully that's fixed for 2020. Well, I think I said that the last few
Hopefully.
games. No, yeah, it's a shame that this has happened, but at least we can get going again because we've got all drivers back and we can get ready to go again.
I just need to make the grid real quick.
Yeah, it's a shame for Jordan, but it's also not just his fault. Is the grid ready? Because everyone seems to have readied up.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, there you
I
go.
just need to move. Yeah,
There you go.
I'm not ready yet. Otherwise, some people will be not happy with the position they start on.
Yeah, we should be good to go. I think hopefully the drivers choose the tyres they qualified on. I think they're supposed to anyway. But yes, good luck to all the drivers. Second time lucky, maybe. Actually, this is the 3rd lobby we've had. So 3rd time's the charm. I'm going to touch wood
Definitely.
because Curse of the Commentator has struck me very hard in the past. Like, I don't know how, but it seems to follow me around like a bad smell. Because I think last week I said, oh, we've had no full-on DNFs, and then literally the next lap I think someone DNF'd. That's not the first time that's happened, and it probably won't be the last. But yes, Division 2 is cursed. But I think we're ready to go now, because everyone seems to be readying up.
Yeah, we're ready now.
Awesome. Okay then, we get to do our intro to the race again. How long's this stream been going for then?
Yeah, this is gonna be a long stream after.
Yeah, so far it's been 50 minutes.
Yeah, we haven't even started the race.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so this should be interesting, but we're going to get underway in just a moment's time, so hopefully this one works. And we're gonna do the podium interviews, of course, afterwards for the top 3 drivers. Hopefully they know that. But
Yeah.
and if they do, remember to make sure that their voice is allowed to be shared, otherwise no one's going to hear what they're saying. But yeah, we should be in a good position for the race to finally commence, and this is turning into a Canada 2014 scenario, which is not what we wanted it to be. But yeah, everyone is in the session.
And now everybody just need to get their setups, and don't forget that, of course, that's important.
Yeah. Alright then. Yeah, they're just making sure they've got the right setups and hopefully the right tyres. Seems like Reckless is ready. And Toothy and Xavier. We'll have to see whether everyone's going to be going into turn 1 the same way they did just a moment ago. Because they're seeing what the result of that could be. And maybe they'll be a bit more cautious, especially those that DNF'd, because they're quite lucky actually to be getting a second chance.
Yeah, very lucky, and probably they know now, okay, I should take it maybe a little bit easier and not try to go side by side, just take it easy the first lap. It is a long race.
Yeah, definitely, but we
Oh,
are
information.
Yes. There's no formation map.
There was no formation though.
Okay, we are ready to go here in Spain. TTG Storm leads into turn 1. There's huge contact right at the back of the grid. I think that's about 5 people off. That's a Toro Rosso, a Williams, a Racing Point. I'm not sure how many got involved in that, but Jordan is already out of the race, which is a really, really big shame for him there. And we already have a safety car before we even reached the first turn. That is really unfortunate. I'm not sure what happened there. I just saw in the background absolute calamity as about 5 cars were facing the wrong way. So I'm going to have a quick look at the replay. Yeah, I'll get the tyres up now.
Oh yeah, that was really a hard one.
I really don't know what on earth happened there. Let me just get all of the detail up, because we didn't get the formation lap, so that kind of caught us by surprise. It's not a problem though, because yeah, I'm just have a quick look again on the stream to see what on earth happened there. So
yeah, that looked very, very weird.
Okay, so the Red Bull just swapped the... Hold on. Where's the playback speed? 0.25. Okay, because it looks like the Red Bull maybe had wheel spin or something, because it just swept across the track and took about 3 cars with it. I think it was the Red Bull of Hayden. I'm not sure. It was either Bosnia or Hayden. Might have been Bosnia, actually, because I saw a Toro Rosso not having the greatest time with it. Oh, okay. So what happened there was Hayden tapped the rear left of Bosnia, which caused Bosnia to turn in on him. And Toothy Danny was just caught in the crossfire just on the outside of both of them. He got forced into the barrier. The Ferrari moves out of the way, and I'm not sure if anyone else got taken with it, because everyone took evasive action, and I think they were fine. Actually, no, a Haas, I think that was MZ, he tried to move out of the way, and I think he accidentally hit Jordan, which is what caused Jordan to go out of the race. But yeah, that's really unfortunate. We had a full-on M25 traffic jam there, as there were Ferraris and everything. So we'll definitely be seeing a few pit stops now. Or we've already seen them, sorry. I was so distracted by trying to decipher what happened there. But yeah, that was, in my opinion, a racing incident. Although, albeit a really big one, I think that is just a racing incident. And it's a really big shame. As Sabinia gets a 5-second time penalty. I've never seen anything like that before, definitely not on that scale. But that is a really big shame for the drivers, and I can return to normal playback speed. But yeah, that's not something I've seen before. Div 2 is cursed. Hayden, curse of the commenter, because he said Div 2 is cursed. About 2 minutes later, there was the big old crash.
Yeah, definitely, but let's see, hopefully the safety car isn't glitched this time. It shouldn't be.
No, it shouldn't. I think that was just because the host migration happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a big shame for Jordan to be out already again. And yeah, I don't think that was really anyone's fault, because it was just a very light tap that led to that. Although we'll have to see the onboards of all of the drivers to see it from their perspectives, and it is up to the stewards to make their final decision on that. But I do feel bad for you, Jav, because this is not how you envisioned tonight going, I don't think. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or something, do let us know in the comments. Hello Storm, get back to racing. I say that. We seem to be struggling on the racing part this evening, this afternoon, to be honest. But yeah, this is a cursed weekend.
Definitely. But yeah, speak about racing. Storm, he definitely is gonna hope that the stickers will come in this lap, so because he has to use all he can on these softwares before they die.
Yes, so we'll watch out for how this goes. I think that it might have caught maybe one or two of the drivers off guard, the fact that there wasn't a formation lap. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll definitely have to see what the stewards have to say about that incident. But yeah, safety car in this lap, that's a message we've been waiting to see for about half an hour. But yeah, we'll be getting going again. Storm will be leading us. He's on those soft tyres. Everyone behind him on the mediums, up to Paulus, but not including Paulus. And we'll get ready to go green again.
So he's just lining it up and see where he goes. If he was smart, he will go just at the end. That's what we saw in D1, what they did, just to get the best exit as possible.
Yeah, we'll have to ride on board with him here. You can see him moving really far over to the left, and he goes at full power. So we are green again. Let's see, and I think he's actually pulled that one off very well. He's really increasing that gap behind him. The green flags are out, and we are racing once again in Barcelona. Let's have a look at Maverick as he rides close behind Ivor Bryn Mike. He's going to have a look down the inside into turn one. He goes.
Kieran gets past Topper.
Ooh, and under braking, actually, Maverick has sent it back round the outside of Bryn Mike. So that was a very good move from him. Kieran, you say, is upper position? Oh no, Tapper, yes he is. So we have some interesting racing going on right now.
Definitely, and right now, Storm is trying to do everything he can just to make to get out of the second of Nufa at the moment, his championship rival.
Yeah, that's correct. He's on those softs, so in his position right now with the safety car, those softs are essentially brand new because they obviously haven't got the qualifying.
Oh, what was that?
Laps. Oh my goodness,
Paulus.
That is Paulus out of the race. What's happened there then? I think.
Yeah, I just saw it. He clipped the grass or the curb, and he just lost the car and hit the wall.
That's a big shame for the Alfa Romeo driver, and that's a virtual safety car before we've even had a full lap under the full safety car. So this is just not the ideal weekend. Hopefully next week this all goes better.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't have faults with Cody's and everything.
Yes. This is a really big shame for the D2 drivers. They must be very frustrated because the race would have been over by now had everything worked according to plan. But they still got the majority of the race ahead of them. As we go green again, we go down to Frosty because he looks quite close behind Sabini. In fact, they're side by side through turn 4.
he pulls that move up. Wow, what a great move by Sabino.
Yeah, excellent. That's put him up into 5th position, and he can start making his way up towards Invisible as long as he can hold the Renault off from behind him, which is easier said than done.
Yeah, Max and Tuvidani is side by side, but Max is staying behind. Yeah, he's staying in front, sorry, of Tuvidani at the moment. He's defending all he can from Danny at the moment.
Yes, and this is where that Alfa Romeo had his crash a moment ago. Fortunately, we don't see anyone follow the same path. As look at that, I think that's Civi just behind, really having a look down the inside line of Danny, although not able to make anything of it. Heading back up the order though, because we've got Sabino very close behind Invisible as they head along the straight. Storm with the fastest lap so far. There's no DRS, but there is ERS and there is Slipstream. Heading towards turn 1, the Toro Rosso has a look down the inside, but he's not close enough. He might try and go for a switchback here. Invisible does touch the grass. That seems to have upset the balance of his Mercedes, and now the Toro Rosso is really closing up, but I think he has run wide because he has not got the ideal exit as we head towards turn 4, and I don't think he's going to get it this lap.
Yeah, but right now we can see Invisible struggling a lot. He can't follow top 3 of Reckless, so he's getting a big train behind him. Ooh, and Kieran just lost the car but managed to survive on that. But he has to be careful now.
Has he got damage from that?
I didn't. He just got a snap. Ooh, and Sabino gets past. Invisible is side by side. That's not a corner where you want to go side by side.
Definitely not. Similar to turns 7 and 8 at Bahrain, in that you don't want to go side by side there, and we saw the result of that on the final lap of last week's Grand Prix when you try and go side by side through a turn like that. But I think that was a bit of a punt there from Calvin on Frosty. I don't quite know, but from the angle it might have just been a bit of lag or something, but it did look like a punt from that Renault. I don't think he's taken any damage though, so it might have just been on our end. But Maverick on Kieran, they are side by side into turn 1. And the Alfa Romeo has got that position behind them though. AXA and Ivor Bryn Mike through turn 1
side
they go.
Side.
Indeed.
AXA gets it.
And AXA on the hard tyres as well against the mediums.
Oh, and Xavi is spun. Xavi just
no.
hit the curb. Spun round. Oh, he's getting his teammate, but he's getting out of the way.
He's taken a lot of damage from that as well. You can see the carbon fibre strewn over the barrier behind him. We'll head back up to Ivor Bryn Mike and AXA because they are very, very close. Really fighting for position here, but that's a big shame for Xavier. It's not working out for him this weekend.
Very unfortunate from him as well. And same as George. He's been very unlucky. For the first 2 races, not been the greatest for him.
Yeah, that's not going too well. He can still pull it back though. We've still got a fair amount of this race to go. We've only done about a 5th of it so far. So still a long way to go this afternoon. And everything to play for. So we'll just keep an eye on how this all goes. As Sabino sets the fastest lap with a 1:22. Is that a 0? Can't quite see from here.
Calvin's trying to send it on Invisible and he gets the move done. But he gets a bad exit. Invisible's gonna come back and he side by side with this fast right-hander. And Invisible gets the move done again. So he managed to survive and save P5 at the moment.
This battle could develop to be quite interesting as Kieran and Hayden are having a little bit of a tussle. Not too far behind, but we'll stay with Frosty and Calvin because look how close they are as they head out of turn 5 now.
Yeah, I'm surprised at the Storm. He's on 7 laps soft touch, but he's still managing to get a good gap to neutral behind him.
That's true actually, that's up to 2 seconds and Nuffle's got 2 seconds behind him to Reckless. So those softs definitely faster, although they'll probably drop off in the coming laps as we hit 8 out of 33 laps down, nearly 9. And I'm not sure how far those softs can go before they really lose that grip that they have. Although saying that, because they were fresh from the start of the race, I think the softs to hards could be a viable strategy for Storm now, because he hasn't got that extra wear from qualifying to worry about, which is working in his favour.
I think Sabino is gonna get a move on Reckless side by side. I think Reckless managed to defend that very well. Sabino can't get past right now, but he's trying all he can.
They are very close there, actually.
Oh, and
Similar
Kieran!
to Calvin. Oh no, is that Kieran? Yes, it is.
Yeah,
That's
he spins.
a big shame. And I think he's taken damage from that. I'm not sure. Actually, I don't think he has taken much damage.
I just think he spun, but I don't think he got damage on it of that accident.
Fortunately, I don't think that impacted anyone else's races too much, which is always good to see. But along the DRS straight now, Frosty closing up on Invisible down the inside into the hairpin. He has run wide on the exit though, and Invisible holds on to 5th for another turn longer.
When Tufidani and Michael side by side again in that very, very tricky corner, but he managed to stays behind for now, which is, I think, the best he could do right now. Just stay behind and get past on the straight.
Yeah, maybe try and force a mistake from the other driver. That could probably benefit him as well. Although Reckless and Sabinio along the straight into turn 1 they go side by side. Ooh, Reckless back down the inside. It's going to be the outside line though, and Bosnia has retired from the session, making it 2 out of 2 races. He will not make it to the end of, and that's a VSC. Now let's have a look on board with MZ. Okay, I think, was that the exit of the final turn? It looks like it might have been.
It was the exit of the straight. I think maybe he has stabbed the grass and just lost it.
Yeah, that would make sense, because that can really upset, because of the cars are so on the edge through that final turn. It just means that they're very easy to upset, and I apologise for the drilling noise you can probably hear in the background. For some reason, everyone in my family thinks it's a good idea to do DIY now, of all times.
Yeah, I think Tubidani will get Mike now, it looks like, around the outside. And he's done it, great move.
I do apologise for this background noise, there's not really anything I can do about it though. So, and Storm does go into the pits now. So he's the first driver to do a pit stop in line with his strategy, and it'll be interesting to see which tyres he comes out on, because I reckon those hards will make it to the end now, because there's only 2/3 of the race left, and if the softs can do 1/3, then those hards can definitely do the whole thing. In fact, he goes on to the mediums, but around the outside goes Danny on Hayden. Yes, he's got that position, very nice there. But yeah, actually those mediums, in fact, they might even make it to the end, so that might be an extremely good strategy from Storm. It's just going to mean he's going to have to do a little bit of tyre management as the race wears on.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Storm actually goes in the mediums. I thought he will try to go at the soft and go to the end, but obviously that was not what he was thinking.
That's true, actually. He might go for a 2-stop even, we don't know yet. But I think those mediums might just make it to the end of the race. We have to see where everyone else decides to pit to make our judgment on how far these mediums can go, and also what tyres they pit onto, because now it's a toss-up between hards and softs, and if they don't stop now, they'll probably keep these mediums and go on to softs later on in the race. I think that would probably be the best strategy call for them at this point right now.
Yeah. The only battle we got on track is this little battle here from P9. And CV looks like he has good pace, but unfortunately he can't get through because Mike and Hate also got DRS, so he's just a sitting man behind him right now, can't get through anything.
No, he will be looking to get past at the earliest opportunity though, because he probably has a lot of pace that he's trying to show. It's a shame for you, Jordan, But you have come out in support of Toothy. It says yellow flags. That's a
Oh,
Ferrari.
Kieran.
That is Kieran again. Yeah, it's not working out for him this afternoon, is it? But yeah, Jav saying oh, sorry, carry on.
Are you just saying it?
Yeah. My headset has fallen off. But Jav saying that he would have gone on to the hards. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Civi's strategy plays out.
Oh, Civi right outside of Mike. Will he pull this move up? I think he has. Yeah,
yes,
Mike.
as they go side by side.
Now Mike's teammate will come up to him. Will he just let him through and get some team orders in? We'll have to see.
That's true, actually. The two racing points are right next to each other on track. But yeah, you can see Civi is trying to make his way up the order. And we can see now on the left the drivers who've already stopped.
There goes Storms. Yeah, just through Mike. He's not defending or anything, he's just letting him through.
Yeah, that makes sense, like, because Storm clearly has the better pace because he's overall in a higher position than his teammate once his teammate will have pitted. So Storm is going to try and make his way past Civi as well soon, who is the next person in his sights on the track. There's a second.
Oh, that invisible?
Yes, that is invisible. Where is that?
And it's on the fast left right-hander. He just got over the curb, I think, and then lost the car. Very unfortunate.
And that's our second virtual safety car of the race, leaving us with just 16 runners out of the original 20.
Oh yeah, and that's very bad for Storm because Neufel and these guys can just pit now and get a free pit stop.
Yeah, they're gonna take much less of a time penalty by pitting now, and that could be very bad for Nuffle. Although they're gonna have to go onto their hards if they're pitting at this point. Now that's a shame, wasn't it? Because he forgot to save his video, and Invisible says he forgot his setup. And we were talking earlier about how setups could be so important, but Civi on the restart has gone straight past Hayden. Although look at that, Storm getting past not one but both of them into turn one. He's round the outside of the Alfa Romeo, and there's contact between Storm and this Red Bull. Riding on board with Hayden, he's got a great view of the action. Storm getting past one. He tried to get past Civi as well, but he just wasn't close enough. As we head through turn 4 now, we'll go up to the racing point. And you can see how it's not gone well in terms of strategy for Storm, because Nufflebeezy is now ahead of him on track. However, Nuffle's on the hards, so he'll be on a compound of tyre until these mediums start wearing, at which point those hards may have more grip just right at the end of the race. So we'll have to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, Storm really has to get past these guys as fast as possible, because he will not go to the end from here, surely not.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be trying to get past Civi, because Civi hasn't actually pitted yet. So this isn't a battle for overall position, if you understand what I mean. Because once Civi pits, he'll be behind Storm. So Storm just wants to get past as soon as possible and try and lose as little time as possible, as we head on to lap 15 of 33, approaching the halfway point this afternoon at long last. And Storm is still quite close behind Civi, but the dirty air through turn 3 is really not beneficial if you're trying to follow, and that's definitely costing him a lot of time.
It certainly is. But right now Neufel is in traffic from Tuvidania and Axer, so this is the chance for Storm if he just gets past Civi as fast as possible, and Neufel can get through these guys.
Yes, this is the only opportunity he's really going to get to try and get past original Civi and start making his way towards Nuffle, because if Nuffle gets past Danny and Axa, that's just even more barriers in the way of Storm. So obviously Easy will try and get past. Yeah, we'll go down to Sabinio though.
So I get it done.
Very nice move there. Just caught the tail end of it. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see whether Storm can actually get past Civi. Because Nuffle Beezy gets past Danny as Danny goes into the pits, which means just AXA between himself and the top spot, as Toothy Danny also goes into the pit, leaving Storm just one, now directly behind Beezy, but 2.5 seconds is the gap, as Calvin sets a fast lap with a 1:21.5. So we will now...
Right now, Nuffle's really losing time, but Storm was 2.6 seconds behind him when he just got past when Steve just beat him. Now he's 1.8, so he's gaining a lot of time on him. So he has to get past as soon as possible now, Nuffle.
Yes, and the sooner he gets past, that means Storm is going to have to get past AXA as well, so he can try and make up the time he's currently losing, which is not working now because he's already lost a second over the last lap, it looks like, or 0.8 anyway. It's a little bit fluctuating right now, but yeah, we've still got a long way to go, and these two drivers look like they're going to be putting up a show. Now, I do think it's going to be interesting to see whether Storm can take these mediums to the end of the race, because everyone else who started on the mediums has had to go on to the hards. None of them are sticking it out. Actually, maybe Max, but I don't think anyone else is going to try and stick it out and go on to the softs.
Yeah, I think then there you go, Nuffle got through. I knew that it was way close to. Actually, who was that? It was Hayden. And oh, and he spits out of that. Yeah, many people spinning in many different corners, but yeah, this track is very difficult. So.
Yeah, that's where Kieran span around just a couple of laps ago, I think. Although...
I don't think we would get anything because he's way. He's not close on the track, so we shouldn't get anything from it. But let's see.
Yes. Toothy Danny and Maverick, I think, are actually quite close. So we'll hop down to these two drivers now. So you have drilling noise in the background once again. I apologise once again, but he's trying to go. Toothy Danny is just trying to get past Maverick, but it looks like he's struggling a little bit, as Hayden does leave the session, having had to retire. Now we'll ride on board with the Williams as we go onto the straight, because this is the DRS straight into the hairpin, so this could be Danny's opportunity to get 9th position off of the Alfa Romeo, but Danny is just slightly later on the brakes and he can defend for now. But as they head towards the main straight, this situation could change once again. As I say that, Nuffle Beezy's actually increased the gap to over 2.6 seconds between himself and TGG Storm, around 2.5 seconds. So he is beginning to make up the time he lost behind AXA, and Storm now behind AXA is going to be losing time as well to Nuffle Beezy before he can get past. So it's all about how quickly Storm can get past, but around the outside goes Danny into turn 1, side by side with Maverick. Can he get the position? It looks like it, although there might be a switch back here from the Alfa Romeo. He is going to have a crack. No, I don't think he's close enough to really make that work. No, I don't think he has. And that's going to be 8th place for Toothy Danny with a fantastic move through the first couple of turns. We'll go up to Storm though, because he's about to try and take AXA.
Oh, he's going to stay behind. He's going to lose a lot of time when he's just sitting behind him now. He's going to increase the gap. Every time he will stay behind. But I'm sure he will get past on the straight.
Yes, we'll keep an eye out, see how this works out.
It's actually also closing the gap to Sabino. They're also trying to get past him.
That's true, actually. I forgot Reckless was in this battle. In fact, Sabino is as well, but there goes Storm past AXA, meaning now he can fight for raw position with Nuffle Beezy. Now let's have a look at the gap. It's 1.8 seconds. So overall, Beezy has lost 0.6 in that little, 0.8 in that little situation there, and that's gone up to over a second now, because Storm is beginning to make up time to try and encroach upon that first position.
Yeah, and it looks like Reckless and Sabino, they were very same pace as we saw in Bahrain. They were also fighting the track position. So looks like they're very the same pace as each other. And that just means this battle will be 10 times harder for each other because you have a guy that has the same pace as you. Actually, Reckless, well, he's trying to run outside of the video here. He will stay behind, I think. Just wait for the straight, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and also one thing to mention is this is a battle for position as well. Now, I think every driver at this point has pitted. Yes, they have. So this is now an overall battle for position. So we'll go on the tyres, and it's just really Storm on the mediums as well as Max, MZ and one Xavier. But look how close they are into turn one. Reckless is having a look round the outside of Sabinio, but he's not close enough to make that work.
And we see original Civic getting past Maverick for P9.
Very interesting, actually. I didn't see Civi coming, to be honest, so he's definitely going to be trying to make his way up the order as soon as possible, as the gaps are beginning to extend a little bit as we head into the final third of the Grand Prix. And Reckless is quite close behind Savino. Fortunately, because it's a Saturday, everyone has time for this, because I'm sure if this was a weekday and it started later in the evening, it'd be very late by the time this Grand Prix finally finished.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. All the delay we have, and that's unfortunate, of course.
Definitely. At least we'll be able to hear the top three drivers' opinions about how this race has turned out by the end, as there's yellow flags, and that's a Renault. Is it? Wait, is it Civi? Oh, that is Civi even.
Just Civi, he's in the gravel.
That has not gone well for him.
I think he just lost it on his own. I don't think he was close to anybody.
No, but at least the yellow flags have been put away, and we can get back to racing now.
I'm just gonna see if he has damage. He goes into pit. He surely has damage.
We'll go with Reckless for now, because he's going to be trying to get past Sabinio for that third position. But it's all down to Storm whether his mediums can make it to the end of the race. That is the big question this afternoon, and one that I'm looking forward to finding the answer out about, as there's yellow flags in Sector 2.
There's Xavi losing.
But yes, it looks like Civi did get damaged because he went into the pits, and I think he got a front wing change. And probably a tyre change along with that. But we can continue now, as we are at the 2/3 point of the Grand Prix now, lap 22 of 33. Still a fair distance to go, which is going to be worrying for Storm anyway, because he's got to get those mediums. Another 10 or so laps, more like 11 actually. If we have a look at his tyres, they're already 11 laps old. He's only done half of the life on them, and it doesn't look like he's making up time on Nuffle Beasy either. So Nuffle's on fresher, harder tyres, so that kind of balances it out. They're 3 laps fresher, so not that much. But as those mediums wear, those hards are actually going to put Beasy in a better stead, and he could win his second race on the trot.
Yeah, possibly. Storm is not gonna go to the end from here. In D1, I pitted lap 9 to hard tires, and when I crossed the line, they were on 69%, so tire wear was 69. So surely he can't go to the end from here. Oh, he's already done 11 laps.
Yeah, it looks like that might just make him, if he doesn't pit, he might end up being completely uncompetitive, so he might have to make this pit stop and try and just fight his way back up the order, because it looks like he is losing time again. However, he could go back onto the softs at this point, if he has any left, which he probably does. And he could try and just use those softs to make up as much time as possible in those last few laps. So we'll see how he plans his strategy out, because he can definitely take these mediums another couple of laps, but he is dropping back from BZ at quite a rate at this point. Well, not too much of a rate. It's going up and down the gap, but it's staying around 2 seconds, and Storm's not going to be too happy about that.
Yeah, Tuvidan has actually called up to Otapa here, the same as Actor.
Wait, there was a time penalty there for Nuffle, actually. So, these penalties could make the end of the race quite interesting. We'll have to keep an eye out for them once we reach the checkered flag. Yellow flags in sector 1, that's a Ferrari, and I think that might be Kieran once again. Yeah, it is just not his race this evening. And you got to feel bad for him.
Yeah, really. And actually, I just look at Sabino doesn't have a penalty, although he has a 5-second that he got on the first lap. Maybe that was an accident. Maybe I think he was trying to get that removed or something. So possibly cool if he's just trying to fight his cars right now. Don't lose a lot of time. He could maybe win this race. He's right now 5 point. Although he's like 6 seconds behind Nufa right now, but if he's trying to stay 3 seconds into him, then he could possibly win, but he has to drive very, very fast to actually under 3 seconds on Nufa.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how that pans out. And also, Reckless is looking quite menacing behind that Alfa Romeo, and he'll be trying to make that a McLaren sandwich on Storm. And actually, if Storm pits again, which is highly likely, that could even mean that Reckless will be in the top 3 and Sabino will have less in the way between himself and Nuffle BZ.
And actually, Reckless also doesn't got a penalty, so Sabino and Reckless looking good right now. And Nufa, he had that 3-second time penalty, of course, so let's see if they can close the gap to him.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this all pans out, as we have 9 laps remaining this evening, so not too far to go for the drivers. It's not a very long lap, actually, and I believe the race lap record is actually held by Daniel Ricciardo in a Red Bull. That's about 1:18.8, I believe, unless I'm mistaken. It's somewhere around that time, but there goes Reckless. He's had a front right lockup, which is not ideal if you're trying to get those hards to the end, because they've still got to go a fair distance. So locking up is definitely going to hurt his tyres a lot. Now MZ has actually gone on to the softs, hasn't he? So he's about 20 seconds behind Iver and Mike, so I'm not sure if he can make all of that up. But definitely going on to the softs, against fresh softs against worn hards, could be the difference between 12th and 11th. He might even try and push to get into 10th, although that would be quite a big ask.
Yeah, and Reckless is really pressing down Sabino right now, and same as Actor, also pressing Tufidani down, but he's on fresh and medium tires. Intus is the fastest lap of the race, 0.9.
Yes, and yeah, I think I agree that it wasn't the jab, that it was a big mistake going on to the mediums from Storm, because this track is just such a high wearing circuit on those tyres. And also, you say that it's been a 86-minute stream already, McCrew, and I've been standing up for all of those because I prefer commentating standing up. And yeah, it's definitely been a long race, but look at that, Reckless round the outside of Sabino. Oh, and he spun it! And he has spun it, and he's gone the wrong way round, and that is not good news for the McLaren driver as he loses a position to Calvin. Will Toothy Danny get ahead? I'm not quite sure, but that is not good news for that McLaren. That has cost him a lot of time and potentially a podium position.
Yeah, very unfortunate. And Axel looks like he's trying to get past Tufidani, but he can't right now.
I agree with McCrew as well that a safety car could spice things up, because that would close up the order. And maybe Storm is waiting for a safety car, although if so, he's really pushing it, because he hasn't pitted yet, and there's not that much time left to pit. Maybe he's just trying to stick it out to the end. Although I'm not sure how he'll manage to pull that off.
I think the only guy on the track right now that doesn't want a safety car is Snowfall, as he has that time penalty, and somebody doesn't have a time penalty behind him.
Yeah,
otherwise, I think everybody else.
That'd be very bad news for Nuffle if there was a safety car. Because we saw last week, I think, with the penalties, that the safety car just amplifies it so much because everyone's so much closer on the track when they cross the line that yeah, those penalties have a much bigger impact. And that could, if there was one, it could cost Nuffle the win. We'll have to see though, because Nuffle's been driving quite consistently at the top there. And he might even get, it looks like he's going to get that gap to Storm up to over 5 seconds. So he might even be able to completely mitigate the impact of his
Oh, that's Kieran's run again.
Yeah, it is
definitely not his race.
I've just seen Jab's comment. No, please not again. In regards to the safety car.
Yeah, Deep One also had a safety car at the end of the race, which was unfortunate for some guys, for the top guys that have penalties.
Yes. But we have only got about 6 laps to go. So, and Storm has yet to pit, although those mediums must be getting really worn at this point. He just isn't pitting. In fact, he's making up time on Nuffle, which is not something I was expecting to see at this stage in the race.
Definitely not. I'm still surprised that the Storm actually is still out on track. And he's not losing the big of time to the guys.
No, he's not. I mean, Savino is catching up slowly but surely. But he's not actually losing time to Nuffle. Now, Nuffle might be relaxing, just trying not to push, although he probably wants to get that gap to over 5 seconds. And saying that the gap is going up ever so slightly now. And yeah, Savino is definitely catching up behind Storm. And I don't think Storm's going to be in a very good position to try and battle the other driver, because that will definitely increase the tyre wear on his car.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing he wants at this stage in the race.
Definitely, he's just hoping, I feel like he's just thinking in his car right now, okay, when is the race done and when is it? He's just hoping the race can be finished as soon as possible, so...
Yeah, it must be very stressful in his cockpit at the moment, not knowing whether his tyres are going to make it to the end or not. And yeah, Nufflebeezy picking up the pace a little bit, or maybe Storm dropping off the pace a little bit, as he does go into the pits, yes! And he'll be going on to those softs, and he's probably going to try and push to the end of the lap, to the end of the race rather, and get those last few positions, although he's only going to be on softs for about 4 laps. Now, I think it's extremely interesting he's pitting this late, because I don't think at this point he's going to be able to make up the time he will have lost in this pit stop. I think he should have pitted about 4 or 5 laps earlier.
Yeah, he probably should. And now he's also coming out to this big train of these guys, and sure, that will take a much longer time to get through, because they all are in DRS of each other.
Has Sabinio got a penalty?
He has a 5 seconds at the start of the race. I don't know for what though. Maybe he will try and get that remote. Otherwise, he has nothing.
Okay, so so he and Nuffle have the same amount of penalties, and right now that they won't affect each other at all, because Frosty isn't close enough to either of them to have an impact. Now I noticed that I think, oh, that's the Williams of Wanzavia. I think he's disconnected at this point, or he's just given up, because the AI are now controlling his car, because it ghosted, and I saw the Storm or either Brim might just go through him, something like that. But yeah, we are. Where's
Kieran's with your safety car. That's Kieran's round again. I just got to unbolt him just when he lost it.
And that is him out of the race as well. So that leaves a virtual safety car, which is exactly what Nuffle wants. And the last thing Storm wants, because he just wants to try and make the most of those softs. Oh yeah, he could be going, that's correct actually, fastest lap. That makes a lot of sense, because, yes, the extra point, of course, that virtual safety car will not be helping his cause, but he'll have 2 or 3 laps just at the end of this race to try and push for the fastest lap and try and get it. So yeah, we essentially only have 13 drivers left in the Grand Prix, because Xavier isn't actually driving. Yeah, so it's just the 13 drivers left. It has been an absolute war of attrition this evening, as Storm is close behind AXA, and he gets past AXA. As Toothy Danny, yes, he doesn't get past AXA. It was Toothy Danny dropping down the order, having a mistake there. You can see the drive's definitely getting tired, as down the around the outside goes Storm on AXA. Fantastic move there, putting him up into 5th place. So he's only really lost 3 or so positions by pitting, so it's not the worst, and I'm not going to ride on board with him because I'm having the rev limiter glitch. He could maybe even push to get 4th place at this rate, because Reckless is only 3.5 seconds ahead of him on some very worn hard tyres. So Storm might just be able to pull it off 3 seconds in 3 laps. We'll have to wait and see. It's definitely going to be close.
And
but that is a battle
goes
I'd
into
look
pit
forward
lane.
to. Yeah, I think he must have got damage from his collision.
Big damage on his front wing. So maybe he will try and go for the fastest lap as well and just get the 1 point.
Yes, I mean obviously every point matters, and at this rate he's still in a good finishing position. And thank you for pointing that out, Jav. He's ghosted because he's lat. That makes sense. Yeah, it's not gone well for Xavier. It hasn't gone well for lots of the drivers, to be honest. Storm, yeah, it was interesting he didn't go onto the hards day, because he probably could have finished in 2nd or maybe 3rd had he not pitted. However, he's not in a bad finishing position. That being said, he's still in quite a good place. It's just a question whether he can catch up to Reckless and overtake him at this point. As we are now on the penultimate lap.
Second level, I think I'm just gonna look here. Probably I will see Storm will catch up to Reckless, as he has much more faster tires on, and
yes,
just taking a look.
Storm does set the fastest lap there with a 1:20.183, which is now the fastest lap of the race, which is what he's aiming to do. But it's a question, can he get up to Reckless? Because there's 1.5 seconds with about 1.5 laps. This is going to be very interesting between the two of them.
Yeah. Oh, and this is not great for Toothy Danny. I think he's going for the fastest lap now, but he has 2 cars in front of him now, so he's going to get hold up a lot here.
And he's only going to have 1 shot as well. And yeah, he's only going to get 1 shot at the fastest lap, because there's only the final lap to go, really, because Nufflebeezy is closing up on that start-finish line now, as there's a bit of a lock-up there
wide
from Reckless.
It's gonna get 3 wide and M2 spins.
Oh dear, and that's MZ facing the wrong way there. It's not gone well for him, as Toothy Danny down into turn 4. Down the inside he goes. Can he get the position on the final lap of the race? He's up into 11th.
Side by side still.
Yeah, they're still side by side. Can he pull it off? He goes for the switchback move. A slight front left lock-up. But I don't think he's going to be able to pull that off. I think we're going to have to hop up to the race leader in a second, because he's just behind these guys on track, actually. But ahead of them overall, obviously. Toothy Danny close behind Civvy, though. Into the hairpin. It looks like Civvy's going to hold him off for now. But we are going to have to hop up to the race leader now, really, because this is the final lap of what has been a very long Grand Prix weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
The longest I've ever commentated, definitely.
Yeah, it has been very long, and it's very hot here, so
yeah.
I'm sweating.
Yeah, I know, I'm standing in direct sunlight, actually, because we've had the world's best weather for the last few days, which is quite nice. But remember to let me know your comments for the podium interviews. But out of the final turn comes Nufflebeezy to take the checkered flag just an hour and 40 minutes after the race began, or after the stream began. There goes Sabinio. and Frosty Calvin coming home, rounding off the podium.
Reckless. Storm, now let's see who will get in front of these guys. Will
Now,
Reckless
Storm-
have any penalties? He doesn't.
Unfortunately, not for Storm. Storm did put up a good fight though at the end there. Nice pace, but it wasn't enough as AXA actually has
Topper.
penalty,
2,000th
yeah.
of a second.
Oh my goodness. You don't get closer than that really, unless it's 1,000, which isn't really that much different to be honest. There goes Maverick. And Max next, his teammate not having the greatest race. Followed by Ivor Bryn Mike just heading through the final chicane now. I'm going to need a cup of tea after this. But yeah, do let me know your comments for the interviews of the podium finishers. And we can get them conducted straight after the race. And look at this actually, Civi and Toothy Danny quite close as they ran towards the line. But yeah, that wraps up this afternoon's Grand Prix. 78% wear on those mediums. Yeah, that was never going to work. Storm. Yeah, don't forget the interviews, guys.
So,
I will invite them.
should we just get top 3 in the party?
Yeah, we'll invite the top 3 and interview them. So that is Nufflebeezy on the top step today. The Dutch driver flanked by 2 Belgians. And the finishing order then is going to be Nufflebeezy on top and Sabinio, followed by Frosty Calvin in third. Then it's going to be Reckless, TTG Storm 72, Otapa 8, AXA, AOT Maverick, CH55 Max, ESW Ivor Bryn Mike, Original CV, Toothy Danny, NZ Official, and 1 Xavier. The DNFs were Meh Kieran, Vapor Hayden, Invisible 17, 10, 15, United Bosnia, Paulus H08, and Jordan T rounding off the DNS. And let's invite these podium finishers now.
Yeah, but
There we go, I sent them both all 3 of them invites. And we can have a little chat to them about that. What? Yes. Welcome,
Guys, you need to go to the
Nuffle.
toilet first.
Okay,
Give me
yeah,
a
I don't
second.
blame you. There's Frosty.
Hello.
Hello. We're just gonna wait for Nuffle, and we'll start off with him when he gets back from the toilet. But yes, that was a long race.
I was
Yes,
just
really
waiting on
long.
Sabinio, the last guy.
We just
And there he is. That was everyone. Alright. Oh,
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, don't forget to put your questions down below, guys, if you have any. If you're still watching.
but
Welcome, Sabinio.
Hello guys.
Just wait.
but we can, let's.
Yeah, we'll just
Maybe
start
we
with,
just start.
Yeah, we'll start with Frosty then.
Yes.
Frosty, how did you find the race? Actually, wait, quickly, is your voice allowed to be shared?
Yes, normal. Yes.
Okay, cool. How did you find the race then?
Bro, the race was very long. I had not the best race. My race pace was not good enough. But it was a fun race and P3 for me. I'm very happy.
Yeah. I think we'll move on to you, Sabinio, then. How did you find that?
Long, very long. Very tough race and yeah, good strategy calls, I think. But unfortunately I had to serve another 5-second time penalty that was a little bit not deserved, but yeah. I served it, so I wasn't on for a P1 then. And then Reckless was flying behind me. I don't know what his pace was, but it was not from this planet, I think. And then he was catching up massively, and then unfortunately I don't know if there was enough room left, but he spun. So I don't know what happened. I'll have to rewatch it, but P2 and I'll take it. Good race.
Yeah. It was, quite an entertaining race. Question for Nuffle. When he gets back. Oh, you're back? Awesome.
He's back.
Who helped you the most throughout the week / stroke race with strategy and mental support, says Killer Brent.
Yeah, Killer Brent was my engineer this weekend, so he wants the credit. But yeah, I think just like last week, I also had a lot of luck because Sabinho gets held up with his 5-second penalty and is fighting all the race with Reckless, who was obviously faster than me. But when they started fighting, I could create a gap and I just drove away. And at the last, my tires were better, I think, because he had a better one, I didn't. So I still could increase the gap and I won again. Seriously, I didn't expect to win races in this league, let alone have a podium. But it's quite another way.
Yeah, definitely. Your start of the season has been very great. Already 50 points.
Yeah.
Back.
Seriously, didn't know how I did it.
We have a very serious question from Jav. How are your armpits, Snuffle?
What?
How are your armpits?
What does that mean? I'm not the Englishman.
Are they sweaty?
I don't know, man.
Alright.
Is there anything else you guys want to say?
I just have a little question.
Oh.
From that week's boys is Germany. How does that track for you guys?
What?
Okay,
Speak slowly.
Okay, I'll speak slowly. I ask it next week it is Germany. How is your pace there, guys?
Let's start with Frosty or something.
Yeah.
I didn't practice
I
it.
know. I think it's
Not
close.
pace, but how do you like the track? Let's say like that.
I love the track, but I think most people love Germany. If you don't love Germany, I think you're not a racer. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, I share that opinion. I think Germany is also very good for overtaking, so we'll see some good battles hopefully and have some good racing.
Alright then. Just
And
an
have
hour.
a normal starting time for once.
Just an hour and 50 minutes after it begun. We'll end the stream. Thank you everyone so much for watching. It's been a long one. I do hope you enjoyed the race after it finally started, because it was enjoyable after that point. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time, guys.